Morning, Robert. Who we got this morning? Morning, Stuart. Morning, Jim. Morning, John. Morning, Graham. Morning, Fiona. Morning, Lenny. Morning, Ali. We'll jump back there onto Facebook, see who we got. Morning, Harry. Morning, William. Morning, David. Or Dave. Morning, Maggie. Morning, James. Morning, Neil. Morning, Nigel. How's Australia this morning, mate? Or this evening for you. Hi, Alan. Margaret. Eileen. Robert. Melanie. Doug. Stuart. Luke. Norrie. Rose. Stephen. Michelle. Sarah. Sandra. Derek. Right, that's enough. We'll be here all day. Let's jump back onto the Restream studio. Morning, Ted Boy. Morning, Alistair. Alright, folks, that's 100 of you on board, so let's get this broadcast underway. Indy Truck Davey out the truck and at home in his office in Salisbury, North Lanarkshire, where it's overcast and 10 degrees. That's the weather forecast for Salisbury, North Lanarkshire. If you want to know what the weather's like where you are, look at your own bloody windy. That's my advice to Hammy B for 5. Cuba. Morning, Hammy. Alright. Right, let's get this broadcast underway. It's a news review for the 13th to the 10th, 2022. Better known as yesterday to you and I. The Thursday started with a mixed bag in the rags. Indy F2 in limbo as Supreme Court judges retire to deliberate on what's been presented to them. Lord Eadie reporting and representing the UK belittles Scotland's Lord Advocate, Lady Payne, claiming she had brought a nonsense case to the Supreme Court. This is based on the referenda bill not having been passed by the Scottish Parliament. The UK argue that the case is hypothetical as no referenda bill has been passed. Now we wait for a decision. Now, the judges are expected to give the ruling by the end of this year. A result either way by the judges will strengthen the cause of Scottish independence. I know we'll see Scotland, a recognised country in the Union, head to the international courts. A yes will lead to a referendum being held on the same grounds as the Brexit vote advisory. But the Brexit vote also set a precedence. So if the people of Scotland vote yes, and there is a referendum, they vote yes, then it's expected that that outcome will be respected. Will it be respected by Westminster? No. Will it matter? Not a jot, as the international community bails in to recognise Scotland's independence. And we know that will happen. The EU27 will bail in to recognise Scotland, and we know that our Nordic neighbours, who consider us to be one of them, will also bail in. There's expected to be a fight between Norway and Iceland to see who can recognise Scotland first. So, even if Westminster fails to recognise the outcome of the referendum, it won't matter a jot, because the international community will then start applying pressure as they recognise Scotland's independence. Okay. Right. The other main theme in the rags, Tory MPs in open revolt over Truss and Kirtainer's kamikaze economic policies. After appearing at the 1922 committee, Truss is given the ultimatum: reverse mini budget or you'll be replaced. Sir Ian Brady, head of the 1922 committee, prepares to change party rules to oust new disastrous PM Truss. Alright, so things are not going well for Truss. It's an absolute car crash of a premiership, and it doesn't look as if it's going to last long, but we'll get a wee bit more of that further on. Okay, moving on. Thursday started in Scotland, with the Scottish Government required to change the law on tuition fees for some foreign nationals living in Scotland. This comes after an Iraqi-born student failed to qualify for free tuition as she was 58 days short of the residency rules. Okay. Now, at this point in time, overseas students living in Scotland or who have moved to overseas people who have moved to Scotland have got to be resident for 7 years in order to qualify for the free tuition. Well, this young Iraqi lady took the Scottish Government to court over it, and it's claimed that it infringes her human rights in education. So they're going to have to revise the whole body scheme. They have to put an interim scheme in place in the meantime until they can set about changing the law and putting a more permanent scheme in place next summer. Okay. So it would appear that international students who have been, people from the international community who have lived in Scotland for less than 7 years will also qualify for free education in the higher education sector. Right, moving on Thursday, British Wool to move its headquarters from Galashiels to Selkirk. The organisation which sells wool on behalf of 35,000 sheep farmers needs bigger premises. It's staying in Scotland, it's moving along the road, and it's going to turn its existing premises in Gala into a warehouse. Okay, also Thursday, Scotland produced record amounts of green energy in the first half of 2022, which is up 36% on the same period of 2021. 7,358 gigawatt hours of renewable energy was produced or generated in the second quarter of 2022. The Scottish Government said Scotland had produced 18,568 gigawatt hours of wind energy in the first half of 2022, outstripping last year's capacity. Now, the increase is due to a wet and windy first half of 2022 and increased capacity with more wind farms coming online. Scotland's Energy Secretary, Michael Matheson, said it's great news as we move towards our net zero targets and as we move to hit net zero in 2035. Okay, also Thursday, Truss Cotang's plans for a windfall tax on renewables will deter further investment in the sector, and that's according to Nick Sharp, Director of Communications for Scottish Renewables. And he said Scotland is a renewables powerhouse, but the windfall tax will slow further development in the sector. Obviously, if they get whacked with a windfall tax, that takes money that skyrockets. They can't invest in new wind. Wind farms, whether it be onshore or offshore. So that windfall tax that Truss intends to place on renewable energy companies is going to slow Scotland's economy and Scotland's advance towards net zero in 2035, because the renewables companies will have less money in their skyrocket to invest in infrastructure. Okay. Also Thursday, virus cases up on last week. 869 people are in hospital with the virus, up 13% last week, and there were 36 deaths, but that was down 20% on last week. Okay, the virus is not going away, folks. There was 3,608 new cases registered last week, up 17%. And the Office for National Statistics say 1 in 45 people in Scotland are infected with the virus. Public health experts, or so they tell us, Gillian Evans, Health Intelligence Specialist at NHS Grampian, tells us the rise is to be expected as we head into winter, and that the increase is not due to new variants. So as we're heading into winter, cases of the virus are going up, but the vaccine program's being the fourth booster, or third booster is being rolled out. So we'll see what happens as the winter comes in, folks. But remember, the virus hasn't gone away. Just beware of what's going on out there. Okay. Right, also Thursday, Edinburgh-based Skyrora's first attempt to launch a rocket into low atmosphere fails as the rocket crashes into the sea 500 metres from the launch pad. The launch attempt was made in Iceland, and the next attempt will be from Shetland. The Skylark rocket, which was 11 metres long, took off and banged right into the sea. Now, a representative of Skyrora says the next rocket they're going to try and put up is the Skyrora XL, which is 23 metres long and has a capable of going into outer space and delivering satellites. We'll see how that goes. Anyway, a spokesman for Skyrora, based in Edinburgh, said they learnt a lot from the launch, even though it went wrong. All right, moving on Thursday. And normally I report the First Minister's questions, but there appears not to have been one yesterday. And if there was, Davy hasn't found any evidence of it in the rags or on the internet. So I'm assuming there wasn't any First Ministers yesterday. Okay. Moving on Thursday. And the new Chancellor of the Exchequer from the House of Thieves and Carpetbaggers is in the USA trying to convince the International Monetary Fund that he and Liz Truss's economic policies are credible. Right, the collective members of the International Monetary Fund fall about laughing. The common question seems to be, how's the government going to cover the costs of public spending with a new fiscal policy? To which Kwasi Kwarteng tells the International Monetary Fund, growth, growth, growth. To which, of course, the International Monetary Fund fall about laughing again. Why are the International Monetary Fund laughing at Kwarteng? Well, simple really. The UK has cut itself off from the world's largest free market bloc, shrinking the UK market by 450 million customers. And the UK has no major free trade deals with the world's biggest economies. And finally, the UK consumers have little to no disposable income, so there will be no growth in the UK economy. So Kwarteng, he leaves the IMF. He's supposed to be there for a couple more days trying to explain what it is he's trying to do, but he can't. Nobody's taking him seriously. So Kwarteng heads back to the UK, where there's problems as Truss is under extreme pressure to reverse Kwarteng's monetary policy or mini budget or fiscal event, whatever they're calling it, or she's going to be replaced. Okay, so Truss is coming back for emergency talks, apparently with Truss, to try and convince people that their idea of growing the UK economy when they've got nobody to sell to and nobody's got any disposable income will work. Mental. Also Thursday, latest growth figures show the UK economy shrank by 0.3% in the second quarter, mirroring the rise in unemployment, which is also up by 0.3%. We are now in a recession, and it will get deeper as the UK economy contracts. Okay. Also Thursday, pound rallies a little against the euro, but stuck stubbornly at 1.13 to the dollar. Sorry, £1 to 1.13 to the dollar. At the moment, it's sitting at £1 to 1.16 euros. Okay. The gilt market's steady, but with the Bank of England to hold its help in the gilts market today, the 14th of October, we could see problems in the pension sector. All right. Now, the Financial Times thinks the Bank of England will continue its aid to the gilts market to prevent a crisis in the pension sector. Bloomberg's insists the Bank of England will need to continue to buy back UK government-issued gilts. And Davy says, I hope so. I'm only 5 weeks away from drawing my pension, and I could well be facing financial ruin. So let's hope the Bank of England keeps buying back these long-term gilts to steady the ship in the financial sector. Right, moving on Thursday. Prime Minister Truss under pressure to U-turn on money budget. Truss also faces a new threat. The 1922 committee favourite for PM Rishi Sunak is being paired with Penny Mordaunt for a tilt at the PM's job. And Kwarteng, so how quickly will the leadership contest take place? Well, the bookies have given Truss to Christmas. And there was a few of the cabinet day, the TV rounds yesterday, James Cleverly especially, and he's saying it's a bad idea to change PM at this point in time. They might be forced to. They might be forced to. Right, moving on Thursday. And flights to Rwanda are back on the cards as Home Office officials tell the High Court that those crossing the Channel will be given 3 weeks to make their claim for asylum, right? Before being put on a plane to Rwanda. Charity Asylum Aid said 3 weeks isn't enough time to lodge a case for claiming asylum. All right, now the High Court is also looking into concerns from the United Nations Refugee Agency on whether the UK can legally share asylum seekers' information with Rwanda. In other words, it might break human rights. Okay. Now, Davy says, I don't get why they're doing this. Day in, day out, we get reports of problems in the labour market due to shortages of people. But they're coming out 1,000 at a time, 1,000 a week. They're all young, they're all fit. Just give them asylum and put them in bloody work. That'll cure some of the problems in the markets, and the labour markets. But I guess it's down to a little England being full of racist bigots in their government and elite. Let's face it, it's why we all it's why with Brexit basically. It's also why we have Liz Truss as PM, because Rishi Sunak, the mayor, a qualified contender for the job, no, he's that well qualified, was the wrong bloody colour. Okay, right. Also, as we know, racism runs deep in the top echelons down that road, and including the royal family, Philip, Charles and William all being white supremacists. Hence Harry's departure for the States amidst a row with his brother over how black his children are going to be. If nothing says racist more than that. Prince Philip, top of the tree, cheer suckers, spear chuckers. Charlie getting carried about on wee thrones, on a big chair with the coloured people when he goes to the colonies, along with William. And then, of course, there's the argument between William and Harry over the fact that he married a black woman. Racism runs deep down that road, and the upper echelon, especially, are white supremacists, and that's why we ended up with the idiot Truss in number 10. All right. So there you have it. Racism rife, and I mean rife down that road. It's one of the reasons why we have Brexit. All the bloody Poles coming to fix our plumbing and build the new houses. Because we've got a shortage of plumbers, sparks, brickies, you name it, we've got a shortage of it. Drivers, you name it, the shortage of everything. Right, also Thursday, trouble for Labour as Shadow Welsh Secretary Christina Rees, MP for Neath, is suspended from the party after allegations of bullying. Miss Rees will sit as an independent pending the outcome of the investigation into the allegations made by staffers in her constituency office. So there you go. One of Labour's shadow front benchers has had the whip removed because she's been bullying her staff back in her constituency in Neath. As an investigation launched by Labour. Well, we know how long Labour's investigations take, so there'll be an election before anything happens. Also Thursday, Ian Blackford MP accuses PM Truss of scapegoating the Bank of England governor, Andrew Bailey, for her disastrous mini budget. The Chancellor and the Chancellor in the Exchequer and the Bank of England governor go to war over monetary policy. The Chancellor in the Exchequer's he blames the problems in the markets on the Bank of England governor no raising interest rates fast enough. The Fed put interest rates up by 0.75% the last time they met, and the Bank of England only put it up by 0.5%. But Andrew Bailey's trying to juggle monetary policy with the fact that he knows that nobody's got any bloody money. If he raises interest rates too fast, then as it happens is you end up with a lot of people sticking the keys to their houses through the letterbox to the local bank. Simple as that. So we've got real problems here as the idiot that's the Chancellor in the Exchequer takes on the Bank of England, which is supposed to be independent and supposed to run monetary policy by itself. The Chancellor in the Exchequer needs to go to the naughty step. All right, because he's messing up the economy. He's dragging money out of people's pockets. He's shrinking the bloody economy. And people are losing their houses at a rapid rate of knots. Unbloody believable. Right. Also, Thursday, Tory MPs brief against the OBR, especially people like Jacob Rees-Mogg and all that. They don't want the OBR's analysis of the mini budget coming to the fore, but as we know, it's going to be published on the 31st of October. So Tory MPs like James Cleverly and Jacob Rees-Mogg are running around the TV studios and radio stations telling us that the OBR have got a crap record on forecasting the economic outcome for Britain in the long term. And as I say, they are blaming the Bank of England, all right, for the state of things are in. Right, but what they're doing is the OBR is to be discredited ahead of this publication, because the OBR is going to absolutely rubbish Truss and Keirtang's economic policies for the same reasons we've all been rubbishing them. You can't have growth if nobody's got any money. You can't have growth. You can't have growth in the market if you don't have customers to sell to. We have no international customers in the domestic markets root. Nobody's got any dough, and companies are shutting their doors at a rapid rate of knots, as we already know. It's predicted 7 out of 10 hospitality venues will be shut down by Christmas, and we're seeing other venues go belly up and all. In fact, the local barber down the road, he's actually shortened the hours that he opens his show. Can't afford his electricity bill, so he's doing a morning one day, an afternoon the next day, morning one day, afternoon the next day, to save half a day's worth of power. Unbelievable. All right. Right, and finally, for Thursday, Tory MPs who support Truss, as I say, they try to discredit the OBR. Sorry, that's not the last of it. And as I say, also Thursday, Penny Mordaunt and Sunak are being put up as a pairing to replace Keirtang and Truss. Now, will Sunak try and run for PM again, or will he go back in as Chancellor? Will the Tory party vote for Sunak for PM, knowing that they're racists and he's the wrong colour? So I guess it must be a Mordaunt for PM and a Sunak to go back in as Chancellor, because if they do it the other way round, they'll lose again. Whatever white face is up against them will win. May as well be bloody honest about it. Okay, so that's basically a roundup of everything that went on yesterday that I've decided to talk about. Disastrous day in the markets again. Truss is likely to make a U-turn on the cutting of a corporation tax today. And I see somebody saying that she's got a press conference this afternoon. So, Thomas, you're late. Get to the naughty step. Had to pick up sick kid at school? You're forgiven, Thomas. Don't bother with naughty step, Thomas. Just write 500 lines. I must not be late. Alright, so, disastrous day for Truss. It doesn't know as if she's going to last. Looks like Keirtang and her are on their way out already. And but as I say, if it's Penny Mordaunt and Sunak, it's more likely that Sunak will have to go back in as Chancellor, because I don't see the Tory party voting for a brown man. That's why we have the idiot Truss in number 10 in the first place. The colour of her skin. Yes, 500 lines, take me back. Good man. Okay. So, that's what I've got for you this morning. Let's go and see what the rags have got to say today, shall we? I've got the National there, so I know what the National's going to say, but I don't know what the rest of it's going to say, so let's look. Scotland's papers. PM on the ropes and tax cut U-turn expected. The Times has Tory plot Sunak and Mordaunt leadership challenge. The Eye has PM planned tax cut U-turn while Keirtang is out the country. He's back now. Flew in last night for emergency talks with Truss. The Scotsman has Truss left on the ropes as tax U-turn inevitable. And Charles opens a revamped borough collection. So apparently King Chuck's still in Scotland. I guess he didn't like England like his mom. You know, prefers to be up here. The Metro has. Kwarteng claims he's going nowhere. Chancellor denies number 10 rift as PM plans mother of all U-turns. The Daily Telegraph has. Kwarteng insists I'm not going anywhere. So we'll see about that. We'll see Trust puts you into the long grass because you're a moron who managed to convince her that your economic strategy was the right one in the first place. And UK rebukes Macron for ruling out Russian nuclear strike. What? The idiots doing that road are advocating a nuclear strike against Russia? No, I don't think so. I think it'd be a retaliatory strike if they strike into Ukraine. But Macron says, no, we're not going to get invited in that. We're not getting involved in that. All right. The loony rag, the Daily Fail has. PM has 17 days to save her job. That's quite precise. MPs turn on troubled trust in mini budget debacle as senior Tories line up Sunak and Mordaunt. The other loony rag, the Express has. Tax U-turn on cards in battle to calm markets. The Herald has. Warning of budget cut threat to wildlife. Conservation work at risk as funding said to be slashed. What's that all about? The Herald reports the Scottish Government has advised the public body responsible for Scotland's natural heritage of significant pressure on operational funding. The paper says there are plans to cut Nature Scotland's budget by 40% in the coming years. Unless we get independence, of course, then we can sort that crap out. The National has. Do the right thing for once, Douglas. SNP challenged Scottish Tory leader to stand up to PM Trust on need for benefits to rise. Douglas Ross is a bootlicker. He wouldn't challenge anybody. He's got his nose into the trough. Expenses last year, over £200,000 the troffer. The Record has. Ice cream when axe murderer walked free. Victim's broken heart. The hearted sister tells of outrage after Hermes Taylor served just 14 years for slaying his wife. And what's the Star go for us a day? What's the Star go for us a day, kids? The Star has. Most urgent political question of the year. Which lettuce will last longest? And we've got a picture of a lettuce leaf and a picture of Truss. That the main verse is that we're talking about cabbages. Any vegetables now 61 to outlast blundering Liz Truss as Prime Minister. So the bookies are saying that Truss has got less chance of surviving a week, which is normally about how long it takes for a lettuce leaf to rot. Brilliant. The Star makes you laugh. It's good to get a wee laugh on the Friday with the Star. Sometimes the Star does some absolutely fantastic headlines. Apart from that, the rag's just an entertainment rag, of course, but nothing more than the TV prospectus. Apart from the headlines are brilliant. Anyway, guys, that's what I've got for you today. Sorry that you didn't get a broadcast out of me on Monday and you didn't get one out of me on Thursday, but it's been one of the weeks. I had something to do yesterday, which is very important to see a nice future. And on Monday, I had writer's block. I had Fridays and Saturdays written. When I sat down to read it on Monday, when I went to write Sunday, none of it made feckin' sense. It was gobbledygook. Thankfully, the usual order is back, and I'm able to write again. But that was the real problem with Monday, folks. Writer's block. You get days like that when things just don't go right. You know, you write it all down, and you look at it and you say, that's bollocks, I can't read that out. And then you don't have time to write another show, so. But that's the way it goes. Hopefully we'll get a full week out of me next week, alright? Now, the two Davies will be back on Sunday afternoon. We don't think we've got a guest lined up for this weekend, this Sunday, but we might. Got a few people in mind. We'll see if we can contact them and see if they want to come and play. Okie dokie. But see, that's what I've got for you. Now, remember, there is an independence campaign and an anti-independence campaign underway. So keep your eyes on the prize, learn your how you gonnies, and get out there and win hearts and minds, because this is the independence generation. It's coming. we're going to get the keys and give them to the kids so that they can build something new. We'll get out the bloody road and let them get on with it. Right, so let's see, eyes on the prize, Lynn, how you going? He's got out there winning hearts and minds. Okay, support the independent broadcasters. Support Broadcasting Scotland, Independence Live, Indie Live Radio, Caledon Media, Truth Radio, the iScot magazine, and the National newspaper. Davey's got his copy. Right. And support independent bloggers and bloggers. And if they've got a crowdfunder on the go, then if you've got a few shekels to spare, which is highly unlikely in this ever-tightening fiscal position of families, please throw it into the pot because these guys do great work. And we don't want it to disappear off the scene. Okay, and the virus, folks, it's starting to rise. The level of the virus is starting to rise again. 800 odd people in Moscow away. So remember, follow the last two pieces of guidance. And that's face coverings and enclosed public spaces and clean hands and surfaces regularly. Now, if you're not feeling well, mask up, social distance, so show a bit of social responsibility for your friends and your neighbours. And if you're a health and social care worker who's still using NHS lateral flow tests, then please submit your results to the NHS so we can keep an eye on how much of it's in the community. As you guys live in our community now, is the ONS says 1 in 45 are carrying it, and that's likely to rise as the weather gets colder. And we get into the winter, okay. Right, it's the weekend for Larry the Cat for PM. Well done, Brian. It's the weekend, folks. I'll be broadcasting on Sunday, but I'll not be broadcasting tomorrow. So you guys have a great weekend. Those things are getting hard. Look out for your friends and your neighbours and your family. We'll get through this with our sense of community here in Scotland. God knows what they're going to do doing that road because they've not got a sense of community doing that road. And I noticed on you, I think it was the Scotland programme last night. Tory MP get ripped to bits. He asked a member of the public if she despised them. She said, I don't despise you. I despise your party. I despise your policies. Your policies have killed 20,000 Scots. It must have been one of my viewers. Yeah, but I enjoyed the clip immensely, so whoever sent me it, thanks very much. Right, so that's it, folks. Look after yourselves, and we'll see you all on Sunday afternoon. For those who watch the two Davies, and for those of you who follow my vlog daily, I'll be back on Monday with a report on what's been on over the weekend. I wonder if I'm maybe not doing the bookies and put a tenner on trust being out the door by next Friday. Okay. Right, catch you all later. Hi, Aki's never seen you there, mate. Catch you all later. Mind Maximilian Robespierre does a live at night. It's normally a great programme. So if you can tune in, alright, you'll get him on YouTube. We'll catch you guys later. Bye for now.